He's being poisoned with thallium through that lotion. Security!
Who are you?
The one who sees what you missed? Test it now, or he dies.
Sometimes, the most dangerous threats hide in plain sight, disguised as everyday comforts. In the heart of Boston's bustling medical district, at Massachusetts General Hospital, a tech magnate named Edward Thornton lay dying in his opulent private suite. Surrounded by the hum of state-of-the-art machines and the furrowed brows of the nation's finest physicians, his body betrayed him in ways that defied explanation. Liver failure accelerated without cause, nerves fired erratically, and his once thick hair fell out in clumps. 20 experts from across the country had been flown in, their consultations costing more than most people earned in a lifetime. Yet, none could pinpoint the culprit. Death crept closer, and the air in that room grew thick with frustration. But one person, an overlooked night shift custodian named Patricia Collins, saw what they all missed. Her sharp eyes and forgotten education would unravel a web of deceit, forcing everyone to question how society values knowledge and who gets to wield it. Patricia Collins glided through the dimly lit corridors of the hospital's elite wing like a shadow, her mop bucket trailing behind her. At 42, she was a widow raising 2 teenagers on her own, her days blurred into nights of scrubbing floors and emptying trash bins. The luxury suite where Edward Thornton resided was a far cry from the standard hospital room's plush leather chairs, crystal vases with fresh flowers, and medical monitors hidden behind elegant oak panels. It screamed privilege, the kind that bought silence and seclusion. Patricia inhaled the sterile scent mixed with something off, a faint metallic tang that prickled her senses. She paused, her mind racing back to her college days at Harvard, where she'd been a standout in the chemistry program, dreaming of a career in forensic toxicology. Life had derailed that path when her husband's sudden heart attack left her drowning in debt and responsibility. She dropped out halfway through her junior year, trading lab coats for janitorial uniforms. But the knowledge stuck, tucked away like old textbooks in her cramped apartment. As she dusted the ornate surfaces, Patricia's gaze fell on Thornton's medical chart, left carelessly open on a side table. The symptoms leaped out at her: progressive numbness in his limbs, unexplained digestive torment, and that peculiar bluish tint along his gum line. Her heart skipped. It matched something from her toxicology lecture's thallium poisoning, an insidious toxin that mimicked a dozen other ailments. Colorless, tasteless, and deadly in small doses, it was the assassin's choice in old detective novels. But who would believe her? She was just the cleaning lady, invisible to the white-coated elite. Dr. Marcus Whitaker, the lead physician, a Yale graduate with a commanding presence and silver-streaked hair, huddled with his team in the corner of the room. "We've ruled out autoimmune disorders and viral infections," he said, his voice clipped with authority. "His kidneys are shutting down now. We need to think outside the box, perhaps a rare genetic mutation." The specialists nodded, scribbling notes, while Patricia eavesdropped from behind her cart. She'd honed this skill over years, absorbing snippets of medical jargon during her shifts. "Excuse me," Dr. Whitaker barked suddenly, spotting her. "We're in a critical discussion. Finish up and leave." Patricia nodded meekly, her face a mask of deference, but inside, questions swirled. Why hadn't they tested for heavy metals specifically? Standard panels often missed thallium if exposure was gradual. Later that evening, as she wiped down the bathroom counter, Patricia noticed Thornton's personal items, an array of high-end grooming products, including a sleek silver tube of hand lotion from a boutique Swiss brand. It had been repositioned since her last shift. Someone had used it recently. A visitor log caught her eye. Leonard Baxter, Thornton's longtime business rival turned apparent ally, had stopped by again, bearing gifts as usual. Baxter, a sharp-dressed executive from a competing firm, always brought that same lotion, insisting it soothed Thornton's dry skin amid the hospital's dry air. Patricia filed it away. In chemistry, anomalies often pointed to truths. That night, back in her modest Dorchester apartment, Patricia couldn't shake the suspicion. Her kids, 15-year-old Jamie and 13-year-old Kyle, were asleep in the next room. She pulled out a faded textbook from her shelf, flipping to the chapter on heavy metal toxicities. Thallium, absorbed through the skin, accumulating in organs, causing a cascade of failures that looked like natural decline. The pieces fit Thornton's symptoms had worsened after each of Baxter's visits. But proving it meant risking everything. If she spoke up and was wrong, she'd lose her job, the only thing keeping a roof over their heads. The next morning, alarms blared through the wing. Thornton had crashed, his vital signs plummeting. Patricia, cleaning a nearby room, peeked through the cracked door. Doctors swarmed, shouting orders for more tests. Environmental toxin? Suggested Dr. Elena Vargas, a junior specialist with a fresh perspective. Whitaker shot her down. We've scanned everything. Stick to science, not speculation. As the crisis stabilized, Patricia slipped in to tidy up. She examined Thornton's fingernails up close, faint ridges and yellowing, classic signs. Her pulse raced. She approached Nurse Carla Jenkins, someone she'd chatted with during breaks. Carla, has anyone considered thallium? The patterns match perfectly. The nurse's smile faded. Pat, you're sweet, but leave it to the pros. We've got 20 experts on this. The rejection stung, a reminder of her place in the pecking order. Undeterred, Patricia adjusted her schedule to observe more. She overheard residents debating. It's like his body's fighting multiple wars at once. That evening, Baxter visited again, applying the lotion himself with a flourish. Only the best for you, old friend, he said, his smile too polished. Patricia watched from the hallway, her mind whirring. Corporate rivalry in the tech world was cutthroat. Thornton's company was on the verge of a massive merger that would crush Baxter's firm. Motive? Check. High drama unfolded when Patricia left an anonymous note on Whitaker's desk during office cleaning. Test for thallium poisoning symptoms align. The next day, she lingered near the conference room. Laughter echoed. Some janitor thinks she's House MD, Whitaker scoffed. Thallium? That's Cold War stuff. The room erupted in chuckles. Patricia's fists clenched. Classism at its finest, her insight dismissed because it came from the wrong mouth. It sparked a fire. Was this how society worked, valuing degrees over discernment? She cornered Dr. Vargas in the hall. Doctor, the hand lotion, it's the vector. Thallium absorbs through skin. Vargas hesitated, intrigued but wary. We've done heavy metal screens. Not targeted ones for chronic exposure, Patricia pressed. Vargas promised to look, but hours later, hospital security pulled her aside. Reports of you meddling. Stick to mops, or you're out. The threat loomed, her family's stability versus a stranger's life. Moral dilemma: nod. Ignore it and let injustice prevail, or fight and face ruin. Desperation peaked. Thornton coded again that night, teetering on the brink. Patricia, heart pounding, gathered makeshift supplies from the janitorial closet, basic chemicals for a crude test. Drawing on her Harvard labs, she swiped a dab of lotion during a shift change and mixed it in a hidden corner. The reaction confirmed. Thallium ions present, a telltale precipitate. She snapped photos, compiled a dossier, visitor logs, symptom timelines, research snippets printed from the public library computer. The climax hit during an emergency summit in Thornton's suite. 20 doctors debated futilely as his monitors beeped ominously. Patricia burst in, evidence in hand. He's being poisoned with thallium through that lotion. Whitaker's face reddened. Security. But Dr. Vargas interjected, scanning her files. Wait, this matches. Run a specific assay. Tests rushed back positive. Chaos ensued. FBI called, footage reviewed showing Baxter tampering. He was arrested mid-flight to Europe, confessing to sabotage for the merger. Thornton stabilized with antidote Prussian blue binding the toxin. Recognition flooded in. Whitaker, humbled, apologized stiffly. We were blind to the obvious. Thornton, awakening weakly, grasped her hand. You saved me when they couldn't. Hospital brass offered a bonus and leave, but Thornton went further. Inspired, he funded a foundation for overlooked talents, granting Patricia a scholarship to finish at Harvard. She transitioned to a toxicology role, her kids beaming with pride. Years later, Patricia, now Dr. Collins, stood in her lab at MGH, consulting on cases nationwide. Her journey from shadows to spotlight shattered barriers, proving intellect transcended titles. At a conference, she spoke. Invisibility taught me to see what privilege overlooks. Graduates followed her path, the foundation expanding. Edward Thornton fully recovered, his company thriving without betrayal. Leonard Baxter faced justice, sentenced for attempted murder. Patricia's life bloomed, degree earned, career soaring, family secure. No loose ends, just triumph over adversity. What do you think about the violence and injustice woven into everyday life, as seen in this tale of poisoning and dismissal? Share your opinions in the comments below. Do you believe society undervalues certain voices due to class or role? Take a stand and express your views. We'd love to hear them.